And then also clue me in if it's a struggle parent where you're like, I've reached out 5 times and I like need to talk to them.
Yeah.
Because, you know, sometimes they don't answer some calls, but they answer others. So there's some workarounds there too.
Well, I have a lot of Spanish-speaking parents, but I know I have Marina and Mitzi, which is nice. And if I'm calling from home, and I think they're English-speaking, and then I get Spanish-speaking, I can always
use
Juan.
Juan, come be me for a second. Yeah. Have a feminine voice.
Right.
Great. Okay. So we've got about 8 minutes left. I want to spend the bulk of that time talking about the 2 goals that I didn't see on here.
Okay.
Because I think you were right in that they weren't actually goals you were able to pick. So the first one is the homeroom persistence. That one reads 90%. We actually want it to be 95 by the end of the year so that it accounts for summer leavers.
Gotcha.
So you want to have 95 by the end of the year so that you get 90 by if in case you lose them over the summer.
Okay.
And then the other goal we're going to add is the 90% grow 1.5 or more years on Little Star.
Okay.
That one, the importance of that goal is it's a really great indicator of growth.
Yeah.
Because you think about a lot of your kids may not hit approaches on Star, but they might have really made significant growth. They just came to you really below level.
Gotcha.
Also for this one, it's 1.5 or more or above grade level. So you also might have some of your really high kids who aren't going to grow 1.5 years, but they're already at a 4th grade level. So like, great job, they're already there.
Yeah.
This is also something we use in TCP when we place you on the TCP. Gotcha. This data will speak a lot to your teaching, and so it's a data point we'll use there. So we want to really work towards it this year.
Gotcha.
So I want to give you about a minute to brainstorm 2 strategies for each, and then we'll discuss what you're thinking for both of those.
Okay. Okay, I can start.
Cool. All right. What are yours for persistence?
So, I think I only have, I know one kid for sure that's new, but following up with, the new kids to idea and, really touching base with parents who are sending, positive, because I know it's probably a big change, and I know we had leavers, in 4th grade that were new.
Yep.
So, targeting my new students, and then just keeping up with my newsletter that I just put out.
Yeah, so
keeping parents in the loop and just keeping that contact and showing what we're doing so the parents don't ever feel like they're out of it or they're invested too.
That's awesome. For your contacting all new students, super smart, because you're right, that's a big focus area. We lose a lot of those kids. By when do you want to have at least one positive contact with all your new kids?
I mean, I could do that this week. I don't think I have a lot of new kids. I thought kids in my second group were new, but then someone was telling me no. So I really only think I probably have 1 or 2, because I had Joshua, but he got switched out of my room.
Got it.
So I might only have 1.
Well, that would be easy.
That would be super easy.
Cool.
Yeah, so I can write myself.
Great.
Check.
I'm gonna have contact all new students by the end of September.
Oh,
but
okay.
If you just have 1, you can knock that out. If you find out there's some more, I want to give you some time.
Okay.
And then agree, the newsletter is so awesome. I can't wait to highlight that in our Wit and Wisdom Weekly as a cool way to get parents involved. So smart, and the pictures are so cute. I know that
a little miniature.
Wilbur's mom is probably dying. So excited.
A little miniature Wilbur, yeah.
And then Little Star, what do you have?
So I was just thinking the vocabulary in Wit and Wisdom is such a higher level that really helping kids get the words, do well on their vocab quiz, we have one coming up this week. That's going to really help them when they're learning. I had a kid say, they go, hey, look, this is the word we just learned, spec. It was in the book he was reading.
Oh, cool.
So that just tying that in to you're going to be able to read higher books when your vocabulary is better and you're growing your knowledge. So building that into Wit and Wisdom.
Great.
I have kids every day on Imagine Learning. They know the routine, they get the computer.
Great.
I let them work a little bit into writing. I try to at least get them to write for 5 minutes, but I want them to like finish that 20 minutes on Imagine Learning.
Great.
So like keeping that, and then also like I think our class book, having that on Thursdays, and then when we finish and they can quiz and they're getting the words and like they're seeing that level that they couldn't necessarily read or quiz on. But because we did it as a class, and it's like gonna motivate them. As well.
Excellent. Also with that, some of the book series we picked are really low for your lowest readers to be nice. Hey, just because it's hard doesn't mean you like can't read books. Gotcha. So Lacey requested that, so that's great.
Yay.
Great. I love those strategies, checking off all of those. And for those extra 2 goals, as a reminder, I'll resubmit those for you and include your strategies.
Thank you.
All right, so we've got about 1 final minute. Our last minute will be over your GET reflection. I read your GET reflection, and we were super aligned in what you selected as your strength and your 2 areas for growth. Tell me, so I agree in terms of student relationships, that is a huge strength for you. Your 2 areas for growth you picked were for 3B, unpacking the unit plan, especially with Wit and Wisdom being new, and 2C, setting really strong MVP directions so that your class culture can be really strong. I agree with both of those, so there's no discussion in terms of like changing those. I just want you to tell me one thing you're doing for planning that's going to help you, and one thing you're doing for culture.
Well, with planning, I'm going to have this here, so as I'm going through my implementation guide, just making sure I hit all those steps, and then like following up, like I resubmitted my lessons last night that I had missed, that like tying back into the FQT. Because I know we had done that, and then I just had submitted them without that step. So, you know, following through with that.
Great.
And then as far as MVP directions, I have like my signs in the back.
Yay!
To try to remind myself.
Yeah.
I guess where I'm getting like a little bit stuck, or it just doesn't feel as natural, as if it's very short direction. Like, okay, when I say go, take out your sticky notes from your supply bag, go. Like, it just feels kind of weird. So I've been trying to say it in different ways, but if there's any way of like suggestion that's a quick, like I do the countdown thing a lot, but I just feel like it's awkward sometimes to say, when I say go, take out your sticky notes, go.
I think that's exactly what you need to do. That's what I sound like when I do it. It sounds weird, but
it just feels weird saying it, but if that's like what works, or
you're doing it.
Like I scan, then again, go, or something. And you can make it fun too. You can be like, when I say meatballs, take out, you know, like Clemmy used to do that. And the kids started screaming out, Taco Tuesday.
You're like, cut. When I say go is better. Yeah, I think there's easy ways to make it fun, but I think that's exactly right, because it may feel awkward, but the more controlled you are, the less you have to bring it back in.
Notice that.
Which is great, and I love that you're using your sign as a reminder, especially for those little directions. So great job there.
And I've been writing them on the board when it's bigger ones, so that way there's no like question about what we're doing.
Smart.
Or I can be like, just told you. Wise level 0.
Which will tie really well into the consequence ladder too. If you have to use it, you're like, I told you it was listed here. There was no question. Great. All right. So that concludes our time for goal setting. Thank you for sharing. Super excited about your year with your goals. How are you feeling towards them in like a 1 through a fist to 5, 5 being great?
I mean, I feel pretty good. Like 3 to 4, it's hard this early with having a star goal ahead, like to see how Wit and Wisdom's going to work out, but the kids are doing really great with it. I think. And as I'm grading more writing, like I finished more than half